Hello, welcome to another All Nation Line video. We're doing some videos now to show some of our customers and modelers how we go about making parts for O-scale models. We're lucky enough to have some of the tooling that came with the business, and we've done quite a bit of rehabilitation on the tooling. And in this video, I want to talk about how we press wheels on. Now, I have done some videos where we came up with a little way to use a 3.5-inch vise, a couple of cups. You put the wheels in here and press them on the axles, and this is great for one-off, quick and dirty. But if you're actually in a production mode where you need to put a lot of wheels on a lot of axles, it's nice to have a piece of equipment that's set up to do just that and get them pressed onto the axles correctly every time. So what you see before you is a press that has been set up and adjusted and calibrated so that when the wheels come out of the press, they are in perfect gauge. And I always check them, the flanges with the NMRA gauge, and go ahead and make sure that the wheels are also not shorting out, because we do insulate one side of the wheel in most cases. So what I'd like to do now is talk a little bit about the device here that we have set up, which is basically has a top and bottom shoe, and then the machining that was done here was actually set up by one of the old machinist that worked for All Nations years ago. His name was John Hughes, and he did an excellent job of creating this particular work holding mechanism. Now this part on the side swings around, and it can typically do single, it'll hold the axle in while you press the wheels down. We usually swing this off to the side if we're going to go ahead and press wheels on transmissions, as an example, the axles that already have the gears installed, and it's sort of the last step we have to do to have a running mechanism. And I know a lot of fellas probably use a arbor press to press wheels. That works too, but on this particular setup, the way this works is, and I'm going to set down my insulators here, we'll typically take a wheel and set it in the cup. I call it a cup. And there's like 3 different size cups, top and bottom, that match. And that is to accommodate the different size wheels. So in other words, this wheel set would have been for a diesel engine that doesn't have gears, probably a dummy truck, and the wheel seats in there rather nicely for its size. Then we can remove the top and bottom, and we have other fittings here that'll take the different size wheels. Like, for instance, this one will take a 33-inch wheel. We also have, of course, 36. So I'm not going to change out the button here. I'm just going to go ahead and put in our first wheel here and show you how we press it. Now, normally I press the first wheel onto the mechanism, and I do the insulated side as a second operation. And when you're doing transmissions, you got to remember to have both sides with the insulated and not, cross them up. Otherwise, you're going to have shorting issues. So what we're going to do is take this first one here, and we're going to put it and make sure the axle is in the hole on the top button. And then we're going to bring the press down ever so gently and line it up and center it like so. And then what we're going to do, since it's very controllable, take our fingers away, and then we're just going to press it in. Now sometimes we get wheel sets in, they need to be reamed out to about 0.13 so that they go onto the axle without bending the axle. You got to have the right tolerances here to make this work. Next, we would take one of our other wheels with the larger hole, throw it in here, put the insulator in the hole, and then what we would do is take and turn it around, and we will make sure we're raised all the way up, set the wheel in the top button there, and then what we'll do is we'll bring this down real gently, and we're going to line it up with the hole. And like I say, we're just going to, the die button that's in there now is for the 40-inch wheel, but I'm happen to be demonstrating the 36-inch. So now the hole is lined up, and I'm going to bring it down just enough so that it's centered, but it's not going to move. And now I'm going to press it down all the way, and when it comes out, we're done. I can check it with the gauge, and we're right on the money. And we'll do the same thing for the second one, remembering to be putting the insulated wheel on the correct side. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. Pick the wheel that does not need the insulator. Like they say, measure twice, cut once. This time I'm just going to do a visual here, twice, and then we're going to put the one end of the axle in the upper button and bring the press down a little bit into the hole for the lower wheel. And what we're going to do is just kind of oddball it and make sure it's centered, and it sort of follows itself right in the hole, and that looks pretty good. I'll turn it so you can see it a little better, and now we're just going to press it in. So there's wheel number 3. We'll take the last wheel, put it in, throw a insulator in there. And I like to use colored insulators because sometimes you want to know visually which side has got the isolation, so you're not making any mistakes when you put it on the track or you assemble the truck. So here we go again. We're going to do this last, or the fourth wheel. We bring it down nice and slow, get it centered a little bit, and we're going to give it a push, and we're done. So we can come out of there, and now we got our wheel sets all trued up, and we're ready to either sell it or finish the assembly in its side frames and gearing and put the motor in this. And that concludes this video. We hope you enjoyed this. It's so important when you're doing this kind of thing that you have good work holding so that everything ends up being square and true.